can't make money from love. You can't make it from writing. But I'm going to tell you anyway, 3 principles of love in writing. I'm an expert in writing. I'm a writer, as most of you know. My husband, as most people don't know, is an expert in love, in dating in particular. 3 principles. First principle is trust yourself. You are more interesting than you think. Second principle is don't overthink it. Third principle is take risks. Take a lot of little risks. First principle, trust yourself. My first date with my husband was the most magical evening of my life. I was new in New York, I didn't know anybody, and he took me to an Asian fusion restaurant in the East Village, and we leaned in over the votives, and I told him all my secrets. At the end of dinner, we went for a walk in the East Village and watched people, and we ended up at Venero's Italian Bakery. The glass case seemed to go on forever, brightly lit and filled with tiny cheesecakes with barely big enough to hold the strawberry on top, cannolis the size of my finger dipped in chocolate, and tiny brownies in crinkly paper with powdered sugar on top. $1 each, we bought a whole bag. Eventually ended up back out in the night walking and watching people and talking until we came to a tea house where I had, for the first time, bubble tea. This was some time ago. And let's talk about that cup, that big fat pink straw that goes in like a water slide, and drinking it, those tapiocas just bouncing off the roof of my mouth, it made me feel like circus. In my mind, I was picturing balloons and seals with beach balls. It was magical, and I was enchanted. Did my husband have a book, 101 Best First Dates? Did he have an Excel spreadsheet? My husband had the trust yourself principle. He always tells his friends, when you're going to take a girl out, take her out to do things that you like. If she's meant for you, she will like it too. My husband is a foodie. Turns out, I like food too! Second, with writing, the trust yourself principle, I think is what makes a person a writer. Because it's about believing that the thoughts that you have in your mind are actually interesting to other people. It's also useful in Toastmasters. My strategy when I sit down to write is not to get a desk and chair and rap out a 5-paragraph essay like we all did in 8th grade. Instead, I just go about my life, and when I see something that inspires me, I hold on to that thought, and I work it like a squirrel with a nut, and I pack it away for later. Sometimes 2 or 3 of those nuts will come together, and a story will blossom. For example, I was in New York City on September 11th, 2001. And that day, the sky was gray, the air smelled gray. It felt gritty in my lungs. And it reminded me, people were walking around with these shawls, this dread feeling on everybody. It was heavy. I was reminded of a day when I was 8 years old, when my 2 boy cousins and I set fire to the hayfield on Grandma's farm. We burned some 18 acres, I think, that day. Same dark, cloudy air, same shawl of dread. Same feeling like, I can't fix this. Nobody can fix this. A story was born. Trust yourself. You're more interesting than you think. Second principle, don't overthink it. My husband asked me out within an hour, turned to me and said, have dinner with me. My husband asks a lot of girls out. He tells his friends, when you meet a girl and she sparks a piece of interest, just ask her out right then. Don't sit around and think about, I don't know, she's got the wrong kind of shoes. I don't know, she's got this weird interest in tattoos. Also, do not dream of the children you'll have together. These are your imagination. They're not her. You want to know the girl. You don't want to know your dreams. Ask her out. If it doesn't work out, move on. Done. Don't overthink it. In writing, overthink it is the biggest obstacle of all. You know that feeling. Blank piece of paper in front of you and a pen. For me, it feels like a murder of crows is trying to roost on my back. They're shifting and flapping and pecking, and it's very distracting. But I have the solution. This is called the monkey mind, when your mind is distracting itself from what needs to be done. Natalie Goldberg is a famous writer and a coach of other writers, and she has given me the prescription for the monkey mind, which I will now share. Get a timer, set it for 10 minutes. Get a pen and a paper, go. Write for 10 minutes, no matter what. If you have nothing to say, write boo, 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 for 10 minutes. Because you have to give yourself permission to write the worst crap in the world if you ever want to express an original thought. I write a lot of crap. Third principle, take risks. My belief is you should take a lot of little risks. My husband asked me out, was it because he looked into my eyes and he said, she's the one. I'm going to marry her and we're going to have beautiful children. No, it's because he asked a lot of girls out. I was just happened to be the lucky winner. In writing, taking a lot of little risks is a thing that makes you a great writer. Because taking a risk means making yourself vulnerable to your reader. It means sharing something, maybe difficult, maybe a little embarrassing, definitely human. When you share a bit of yourself, take a risk, your readers will see themselves in you because they've all been there. Maybe not the exact situation, but they've all been embarrassed. They've all been hurt. They all know how pain feels. And they will be drawn into you. Because that's what love and writing are really all about. Bringing people to you, making a good connection. So the next time you're in the dating pool or you're asked to write something for your job, or maybe your teenagers are on a date, I hope you will remember the 3 principles of love and writing. Trust yourself, don't overthink it, and take a lot of risks. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests,